I'm bigcal, and welcome to my world. For 20 years now, Pokemon games have graced our Nintendo handheld consoles and given us hundreds and thousands of hours of enjoyment. Going all the way back to the originals, Red and Blue followed up by Yellow. Then we had Gold, Silver and Crystal, we moved on to Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, then we got Black and White 1 and 2, and then the latest releases X and Y until Sun and Moon come out in a couple of months. And I want to ignore all of these and instead talk about a fan-made Pokemon game. "10 years in the making, Pokemon Uranium was built by users JV and Twitch using RPG Maker XP. Now, they did use the Pokemon assets that are available online to let anybody make their own Pokemon game, but of course they also used their own. And as someone who is currently working on an RPG game, which there will soon be a monthly blog post by me at the end of the month going through how the game is progressing, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, as someone who is making one, it's one thing to have all the graphical assets for a Pokemon game, it's another thing entirely to actually build the game. Sure, you can map things and it'll take you a while, but eventually you'll come up with something decent. But then there is so much more to it. There's all the different scripts you would have to either write yourself or find online, put in, edit yourself, customise, just to get all the systems working properly. There is a ton of work involved in this. And like I said, as someone who's making a game in RPG Maker, I admire these two people a hell of a lot for the work that they put in to get this game done. And it's no surprise it did take them 10 years. So, what is Pokemon Uranium exactly? It's just a fan-made Pokemon game, right? Well, no, it isn't just that simple. I mean, for starters, there are 200 Pokemon in the game. Almost all of them are brand new, custom-made just for this. Yes, there are a handful of original Pokemon that you will recognise in the game, but for the most part, they're all brand new and you'll come across the newer ones for the majority of the game. And with new custom Pokemon, we do of course have 3 brand new starters exclusive to Pokemon Uranium. And you get to choose these, of course, not in the usual method of looking at a Pokeball, seeing the Pokemon and deciding then and there. You have sort of a test. It's not really anything special. It basically, all the answers are colour-coded, green for the grass type, red for the water type, red for the fire type, blue for the water type, silly me. And really, as far as I know, only the final answer actually goes towards picking the Pokemon. But I do like this because you don't just decide on your Pokemon based on what it looks like. You don't see it until you've chosen it. But anyway, the 3 starters you get, one is a water-electric type, kind of a weird mix, but also kind of cool. You also have a grass-steel type, and then my personal favourite is the one that I used is a fire and ground type. If you're going to play this game for the first time, I'll probably recommend going with the fire Pokemon because insanely powerful and very strong against a ton of Pokemon in the game, especially once it's higher level. Trust me, you'll want this one. And as well as that, there are also online features, which for a fan-made game is so impressive. You have online battling against random people or friends, online trading, which is fantastic, as well as a mystery gift option, where you can go on, there are already a few that have been released, and they've been releasing some every so often afterwards. You get things like a special shiny Pokemon, and then mostly, from what it seems, items that you'll give to a particular Pokemon, and then they'll evolve through a trade with that item. So that's really cool, really interesting, and I really like Pokemon Uranium and the basic ideas and features that it includes. While these starters only have one evolution instead of two like normal, they do have access to a mega evolution form during battle as well, though you aren't able to do this until later on in the game. Now, I have heard some complaints about the custom Pokemon that are in the game and how they just don't look very good, and honestly, I completely disagree with that. I think most of them look really good. Either good enough that I would believe that there could be an original Pokemon game, or just good enough that, yeah, they are real Pokemon, but they look cool anyway. Are there some bad Pokemon in this game? Yes, some of them do look kinda shitty, but let's not pretend that official Pokemon games have 100% fantastic Pokemon designs. I mean, really, just look at these. So, where exactly does the Uranium part come into this? Well, unlike normal Pokemon games where you battle a Team Rocket clone, here you actually battle against Pokemon who have been affected by radiation and transformed into the new nuclear type. There is of course an ongoing story arc with the main villain and the reason as to why all this radiation's leaked out and transformed these Pokemon, but it will be mostly actual normal Pokemon that you do battle, who have just been transformed into the new nuclear type, and they have their own strengths and weaknesses against your types. So it's actually a really cool concept. And the story as well, to me, just seems to be a little more in the background than the likes of your Team Rocket and things like that from the older games. Here there seems to be more of a focus on you, your journey, the gym leaders collecting badges, your rival, and then finally making it to the Pokemon Championships. Other games, it always seems like, yeah, you're a trainer, so obviously you're going to do all that stuff. But oh my god, there's this evil team that's trying to take over the world. Oh no, won't someone please help us all? That's what the old games to me seem to focus on a lot more, but here it definitely seems to be more about you and your journey as a Pokemon trainer. And that's just another reason that I really like this fan-made game. Pokemon Uranium is set in the region of Tandor, and it looks amazing. I'm personally a huge fan of how RPG Maker games tend to look in general, and along with the Pokemon assets they used, day and night cycle, lighting effects and everything else, I'd go as far to say that it looks better than most genuine Pokemon games. That of course again might be just my personal preference though. Maps are very well designed, and in typical Pokemon game fashion there are lots of little shortcuts for backtracking, be they ledges to jump or rocks to move and break once you have the right HM. Long surfing routes are even broken up with dive making an appearance here, allowing you to go underwater too, which I'm a huge fan of. Tandor is also a fairly large region, spreading itself across 2 pages of the map, though right now the second part only seems to be half filled, no doubt leaving room for some future updates, which I'll get into later. You can certainly tell that a lot of time and effort went into creating this region, and it paid off beautifully. Presentation-wise, Pokemon Uranium is just like a real Pokemon game. You've got the same style menus, options and gameplay. It all looks the part, only a little less polished? I think that's the best word I can come up with to describe it. The battles are where I can tell the most that it wasn't quite up to scratch when compared to a real Pokemon game. The health and experience bars don't quite have that smoothness to them when changing up or down, and attack animations are also very limited due to the RPG Maker system. Little things like fly and die don't see your Pokemon vanish for a turn, and Surf, for example, has a pretty bad animation, as to me it would have been more suited to the waterfall attack instead. Luckily, these are all minor visual complaints, and they won't ruin the game for you in any way unless you are really, really picky. Everything else seems to be pretty much the same as what you'd expect, from throwing Pokeballs, catching Pokemon, using potions and other items, switching out Pokemon and using attacks. Outside of battles, the only problem I ever really had was when you entered caves or certain buildings. You'd go into a cave by going up, and then for some reason when you transitioned into the cave, it looks like you've come into the cave through an opening in the top instead of the bottom. It's all backwards. This happened a lot and just seemed really weird to me. One big issue I had during my playthrough was how much backtracking there seemed to be. You do eventually get to use the train and in certain areas a boat, but these happen later in the game when you've already spent a good while going back and forth across the region. What about fly, you say? You don't get fly until before the 8th gym. You don't typically get it early in actual Pokemon games, but they do give it out much sooner, plus backtracking never seems as tedious there. Even with the trains and boats, half the time you'll still have to travel from where you get dropped off to where you actually need to go. A feature I haven't mentioned yet happens to be an option right at the start of the game. These days, lots of Let's Players are bringing out Pokemon Nuzlocke videos, where you play through a Pokemon game with a special set of rules known as Nuzlocke. Well, Pokemon Uranium includes this feature in the game to help you keep track of those special rules and prevent you from cheating. Only one Pokemon can be caught in each area, and only the first you come across, unless you've already caught it. And if a Pokemon is KO'd in battle, he is dead. The only thing they don't enforce in the game is the name changing rule where you must rename every Pokemon you catch, but that's not exactly a deal breaker. Overall, Pokemon Uranium is a wonderful fan-made Pokemon game that makes you feel like you're playing an official Pokemon game 99% of the time, with only a small 1% of things spread out throughout the game that make you realise that no, it isn't quite official. And I guess that's a good thing, because we know we're not playing an official one, we know it's a fan-made, and knowing it's fan-made, like I said, just makes it so much more impressive with everything they've managed to include. Some of the things that really make you feel like it isn't official while you're playing, aside from some of the visual things that I mentioned, is the likes of levelling. Levelling up here, to me, seems far easier than in normal Pokemon games. Now, admittedly, I have yet to play X and Y, but based on the older ones, I always found levelling up, once you get to a certain point, can be rather difficult. Here, it seems to make it a lot easier. There's a ton of repeated battles that you can do against people with your trainers, high-level Pokemon, rather than having to grind in long grass. There are a couple of areas where you fight your rival, and if you don't continue on to the next area, if you go back to a Poke Center and then return, your rival's still there. You can still battle him again and again and again. He's got high-level Pokemon, all different types, so you can use type advantages, switch around, get everyone leveled up. And then there is also a place right after you get the 8th gym badge. If you want to level up for the championship, you can. There's a small side quest involving ninjas. You have to search the entire map for all these ninjas, bring them back home, and then you can battle them non-stop whenever you feel like it. And they all have 5 level 52 Pokemon. So if you spend a couple of hours battling these with a lucky egg on your Pokemon doing the battling, and EXP share who you want to level up, and you'll be ready for the championship in absolutely no time. I levelled up my starter Pokemon to 100 with ease here, and ended up being far too overpowered for the rest of the game, for the championships, and then the final boss battle. And I know it was my fault for levelling up to 100, but I haven't had a level 100 Pokemon in an official Pokemon game since I originally played Pokemon Silver back in the day, when that was the only game I had for the Game Boy Color, and me and my friend would go to each other's houses and just play it for hours on end. That's all we did. I clocked in over 100 hours of that game and had a ton of level 100 Pokemon. I have not done that since, but here it was far too easy, which is actually a little bit of a disappointment. And also another tiny disappointment was the story. It has the most obvious ending imaginable, unfortunately. I know Pokemon games aren't really heavily story driven, but this one, I knew what was going to happen at the very beginning of the game, the first cutscene. It is far too obvious what is going to happen. So that is a shame, but at the same time I did mention that the story is more in the background than usual, so you still have the big journey of becoming the Pokemon champion, so it kind of balances it out. And another thing I need to mention, of course, is the sound, the audio. It is incredible here. You have all the nice normal Pokemon sounds, then you have the music. Some of the music here is tremendous. As far as I know, it's all custom made. Some of it are brand new themes to fit the game, and some of it are remixes of old classic themes, and they all sound tremendous. Again, I mentioned that visually I think this might look better than most Pokemon games, and I think the soundtrack probably matches up at least with the original Pokemon games. It all does sound wonderful. And it's just another layer to the game that makes me really enjoy it, and another reason that I wanted to talk about the game. So there you have Pokemon Uranium, a fantastic fan-made game that is impressive as hell with all the features and the fact that it took 10 years to make. The soundtrack's great, visually it's great, it plays just as well as a normal Pokemon game, the story's a little bit iffy, there's plenty of online features, and they are still supporting this game. Once you complete the main story, there are tons of hints as to future content. More Pokemon, mainly legendaries. There are a bunch that get talked about as you're going along your journey, but you can't yet access them. There also seems to be something involving pirates. You have a pirates versus ninjas type thing. So hopefully we can get some new areas as well to it, which is always cool. And they do update it as well. There is an updater that comes with it. Unfortunately, the website does seem to be down as of me recording this video, and has been for about a week and a half. However, if you want to get this game, because Pokemon Uranium, the creators took it down before Nintendo could send out a cease and desist, they are no longer sharing links to download. If you do a quick Google search for Pokemon Uranium Reddit, you'll get the official Reddit section, basically for Pokemon Uranium. Tons of download links. There's a couple of pages there that will let you know how to update the game as well, even though the Pokemon Uranium official servers are down. And of course you can get help with other things in the game. So please, if you like Pokemon, check this game out. It is amazing. 10 years in the making, fan-made game, totally free. Absolutely incredible. I personally loved it. As far as a rating goes, I'm going to score Pokemon Uranium 85 out of 100. The main reason for this is that it is just, in a lot of ways, another Pokemon game. And we've been basically playing the same style of game for 20 years, and it does get a little bit dull in parts. I mean, once you've played one Pokemon game, for the most part you've played them all. So that does bring the score down a little bit for me. I think maybe they could have tried to do a little bit more to make it not just a Pokemon game, but something extra, you know, something that, yeah, we love Pokemon game, but how about if Pokemon did this or that? So that's really my only complaint with the game that brings down this score. Otherwise, this is totally fantastic and well worth a download. So thanks for watching. I'm bigcal, and I'll see you again next time.